And on this video, I'm gonna give you a complete tour of the WOLFBOX G850 menu and my personally recommended settings for this mirror dashcam. Now, I have previously reviewed this dashcam on the channel. If you guys wanna see that full review, I'll put a link to it in the description down below, as well as a link to this dashcam in case you wanna get one for yourself. And I have just updated my WOLFBOX G850 with the latest firmware update, and as you can see, we get new graphics, a very high-tech, clean look, and we get a couple of additional icons. We have now the ability to temporarily mute the audio and only record video, and we can always resume recording audio and video at the same time by pressing that button. We also get a little icon for brightness that brings up this little bar, and that allows me to decrease the brightness or increase the brightness. And to access the settings of the dashcam, I'm gonna tap on the screen and stop the recording. Now I can press the little gear icon. And the very first option is gonna be resolution, where I can select for the front camera to record at 4K while the rear records at 1080, or we can select 2.5K for the front, 1080 for the rear, or we can select 1080 for both the front and the rear in case we wanted to fit more into our memory card. The next option is movie clip time. Dashcams record video continuously, but they segment those videos into smaller manageable clips of videos. And here we can select how long we want those clips of video to be: 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 3 minutes. There is no wrong, incorrect setting over here. It's just a matter of preference. Some people like 1 minute. I prefer 3 minutes. That way I don't end up with too many 1-minute clips. Reverse line. This option allows me to customize the reverse guidelines and the angle of the camera that is being shown. I can select for the camera to show me a little bit lower, more towards the sidewalk, to the curve, so I can see that I'm not gonna hit it. And I can also adjust those guidelines so they better reflect my vehicle. And notice how I can adjust both of them, either one independently from each other, both on the top, on the bottom. Once I have found the place where I want them to be, I can leave them on there, and the dashcam is gonna remember this setting for the next time that I use the parking assist function. And the next option is mirror flip of the rear image, which is on by default, and that allows this dashcam to behave like a normal mirror, correctly displaying the orientation of things behind us. As you can see right now, the car is pointing towards the right. However, if I wanted to change that, I can go back into that menu and turn that setting off. And if I go back to that view, you can see that the car has now effectively been flipped horizontally, so it is now pointing towards the left side. And the next option is upside down or rear image, which is off by default. And let's go back to that rear view so we can see what that function does. As you can see right now, the car is in its correct orientation. However, let's imagine that the installer placed the camera upside down. So the car is upside down now. Now there is an easy way to correct for that, and that is by going into that function, upside down, and turning that on. And now, as you can see, we have effectively corrected for the camera being upside down, and now the car shows in the correct orientation. And the next option is format the memory card. This allows me to delete all the videos that are on the dashcam with one click, and it is also recommended to use this function anytime a brand new memory card has been installed on the dashcam. Next up is language, and we get several choices to select from in case we wanted to change the language of the dashcam. Next up is screensaver. This option allows the dashcam to turn off the display and continue recording in what I call stealth mode. And we get the choice of 3 minutes, 2 minutes, or 1 minute before the screen times out and it continues to record. However, I like to have the screensaver off because I like to have my display on all the time. Next up is parking mode. If this dashcam is hardwired, we can turn on the parking mode with a duration of 12 hours, 24 hours, or we can turn it off entirely. Next up is the G sensor sensitivity. This dashcam has the ability to detect when you get into a car crash and flag the video, so you can find it a lot easier in the future among the many hours of video that this dashcam can potentially record. And we get 3 choices for sensitivity: low, middle, or high, or we can turn this function off altogether. Now, if I set this too high, I can potentially end up with a lot of false alerts. Perhaps I went over a speed bump and now the dashcam thinks I crashed, or perhaps I closed the door a little bit too hard and the dashcam thinks I crashed and it starts flagging unnecessary videos. So I run mine on low, but I recommend experimenting with your vehicle because this varies from car to car, and also personal preference in between how many false alerts you want versus actual real car crashes to be flagged. Next is volume, and if I turn the volume on, now we get a very annoying beep every time I touch the menu of the dashcam. So I like to either lower this to low or turn it off altogether. Now, turning off the volume completely to off also turns off the sound that you hear when the dashcam first turns on. So it's a nice way to have this dashcam turn on without giving you that sound every single time. Next is flicker. If you are in Europe, I will select 50 Hz, and if you are in the United States, I will select 60 Hz. And this is going to reduce any kind of flickering of any lights that you may potentially record. So I'll leave mine on 60 Hz. Moving over to the second part of the menu, we have GPS information. There is nothing to change on here. This just shows us the current coordinates of where we are located and the number of GPS satellites that this dashcam has acquired. In clock settings, we can manually change the date and the time. However, if you are using the GPS, the time will be automatically set for you. If we go into time style, we get the ability to select between 12 hours, which is AM, PM, or a military time style, which is the 24-hour time. Next is time zone. Now this setting is important because we know that this dashcam can set the time automatically based on the GPS, but we need to tell the dashcam which is our current time zone so it can set the date and time correctly. And if you live in an area like me that uses daylight savings time, you can turn that time on and it'll automatically shift that time for you, or you can turn this off and again it'll automatically correct for that 1 hour difference. Next we have speed unit, where we can select between kilometers or miles per hour. Next is speed compensation, and this allows you to make adjustments to the GPS speed of the dashcam so it can match correctly the speed on your vehicle. However, I have found so far that the GPS on this dashcam is fairly accurate, so I never have to adjust it. I always leave that on 0 and it matches my vehicle correctly. Next we have the overspeed remind, which is a speeding warning. If you want to be told at a specific speed that you are speeding, the dashcam can alert you, and here you can select when do you want to be notified that you are potentially speeding. Default booting display. This allows you to change which is the camera that you want to see when the dashcam first turns on. You can have it show both the front view and the rear view, or you can have it always show the front view, or my personal preference, always show the rear camera, because I like to use this as a normal mirror, except that it's an LCD mirror dashcam. And if for some reason we change something on this dashcam and we don't know how to return it back to its original configuration, we can use the reset setup option for that, and this will restore the factory defaults of the dashcam. And finally, we have the product information. There's nothing to change on here. This just shows us the current firmware that this dashcam is running. So remember, I put a link in the description down below to this mirror dashcam in case you want to get one for yourself. And if you guys have any other questions regarding the WOLFBOX G850, also put that in the comments down below. If you found any part of this video helpful, make sure you hit the thumbs up button to support the channel, and stay tuned as I have a lot more mirror dashcam videos coming up. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.